Well, hello everyone. You have right here talking about whenever it comes to welcome follow me right here, but then also talking about the house right here. And I'm sure that we're probably thinking as toward it, do we really keep count whenever it comes to how many weeks or maybe if it's 3 weeks until or after or something like that. And let's just say that maybe if it's the marching, ducklings or something like that, I'm like, yeah, marching ducklings or anybody say the ducks right here, but still, that I thought I'd go ahead and talk about right here is talk about with the house right here because we know that if we're talking about maybe a barn house or maybe a tree house or maybe a clubhouse or somewhere like that, and so whenever I was working on this, I was just thinking too that yeah, any kids, if you're going to go ahead and color something that you would like to go ahead and start out with painting an example of a house right here, and you're probably thinking this toward yeah, especially if you're going to have a few friends over, that you go ahead and start out with what you call like having your imagination, but still that but you see right here is this example right here of this house right here. And yeah, so it's like, how many of us will maybe think as toward it, yeah, that would you think about that as an example of like maybe a stamp? You're probably thinking is that, yeah, if that right there was supposed to be maybe like an invitation or something like that, that you would maybe use this right here as example right here for a stamp. And so yeah, somebody yeah, you can see this example right here of a house. This it's supposed to yeah, it's supposed to look like a barn, but still. So you have right here, and I'll go ahead and tell everybody that have the image right here, but they're talking about right here, talking about text messaging, and so I'm sure most kids, most younger kids would know that what text messaging right here is, right? But still, that each time you think about the word text messaging right here, does that make you feel a little bit more at home whenever you think about that? So whenever you do think about that, that you're 102, that each time you receive a text, that do you necessarily think about home right here and knowing about yeah, you got the writing right here that talks about the ducklings, would be getting ready for the spring, ready for what they would be coming, from the west or going, to the east, ready to find a place to build a nest right here. So really, that yeah, from where it's warmer and everything. So yeah, so it's like so each time you're gonna be thinking about that, and you're 102 that that the first thing that you think about is that yeah, you start reading something, and everybody might say that that the first thing that you were thinking about is that yeah, I would like to just go ahead and read this first paragraph right here of the story. So if you include right here is a big picture right here of a duck right here, and then you have right here like you include like a story right here, and I know maybe a lot of teachers, anybody who's looking would might say is toward if you were to go ahead and maybe draw something, or maybe from a dream that you had or something like that. Like everybody might say that, it could maybe yeah. I mean, I really don't know. I'm like yeah, like a notebook or something like that. But still, so each time you think about that, and like everybody might say that, does it really help a lot? Just to be able to include your pictures and where you can actually show somebody how to be able to picture in your mind. Whenever you do draw the pictures right here, that you're able to picture in your mind, and that you're drawing it to where other people can see that right there. And you're thinking is that yeah, that they can see the duck right here, but it's like yeah. But how often does that really mean right here when we talk about the eggs right here? And like everybody say that it usually means Easter, or that usually means that spring's about 3 weeks away or something like that. But still, so if you're going to be thinking about that in 102, that you got the eggs right there, and 102 that that yeah, that what exactly does that mean? Even if you're looking at a drawing or a photograph or some kind, but still that but you got the eggs right here. But I'll go and show everybody here that I guess this will be page 5. Right here, you got the marching ducklings right here, and you see right here that way I put this together right here, you got the ducklings right there, and then right over here on the left will be this example right here of the page to talk about homes, talk about for a house, the house photographs right here. So I actually put this together right here, like everybody might think is toward it. It looks maybe just a little bit like an ad, right? And but still, whenever I was putting this together right here, I was just thinking that yeah, why does it remind you maybe just a little bit like if you're looking into maybe warranty coverage or something like that, maybe for insurance or something like that, insurance rates or maybe quotes or something like that. But still, so you have like maybe 4 different images right here of the property right here. But what exactly is it that's going to maybe remind you of? Like everybody might say that, yeah, well, you got the idea of this, like maybe if it was like supposed to be designed for like a board game, like let's just say if it was a game, right? If it was a board game and you had these images right here of these characters, and let's just say that maybe if you can move these, like yeah, these pieces around right here, and everybody might say that you move the pieces around, and thinking is toward okay, yeah, you got the characters right here, but still that so whenever you do look at that, then you'll want to know too that this right here, if it was supposed to be designed toward it, it's supposed to be like maybe is it supposed to be a story or is it supposed to be an example of maybe a game? If it's supposed to be like a typical board game or something like that, or an activity book or something like that, but a lot of other kids might even say that you maybe just make it a little bit more exciting. That if they're going to be drawing a picture for sure, that they include right here of 2 images right here of pretty much the same thing, right? But I included right here is the snow on the rooftop right there. And right over here, I included right here of like maybe the repainting job right here. And but one thing that I want to talk about right here is talking about, what does it usually mean? Like everybody might say that do parents maybe ask that question a lot of times? Is that whenever it comes to, remodeling or reworking something, and so what does it usually mean to rework something? And you want to know too that it pretty much means like to reset something or something like that. Remodeling or reorganize or something like that. But whenever you do think about that, then you'll want to know too that rework and reorganize, and I can go and maybe put that use the typograph right there. But so every time you think about that, then you'll want to know too that I can go ahead and put that down there and add to that right there. That pretty much means right there is that the rework is toward it in the process. So really, could you possibly use that key definition right there as also an example of reworking something? Like everybody might say that anything that you're going to be working on for sure, that kids might even say that really that whenever you do think about that, does that pretty much mean is toward okay, well you got to start over and start from scratch? All that hard work that you were putting into something, and want to know too that reworking something. And so any parents, if it's mom and dad, might say that their kids are going to be working on anything such as maybe an activity, or maybe if it's a coloring book or some sort, that let's just say that they're going to be asking a question to where that if somebody asks you to go ahead and redo something, rework something, and maybe so it's like like a little a merry-go-round, like just a little bit like a merry-go-round. And so pretty much it's like everybody might say that does that pretty much mean right here is that that you're the marching ducklings right here, but does that pretty much mean is to where you're telling those ducklings that that's upside down, right? I'm like here I can go ahead and show everybody here, but Yeah, if you want to put that on the sideways, maybe you do like a little reflect or something like that. But yeah, you could just use it sideways if anything for right now. And well, I'm just trying to show everybody here that if something does change for sure, that what is a good example for that? And you're probably thinking that yeah, trying to see if I can position that. Okay, yeah. Reposition, transform. Yeah, the selections right here. Yeah, you got that. Okay, right there. Well, let's see if I can just. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to place it properly here. But anyway, is it going to let me move that at all? Or here? Maybe just leave that up there. Here, I'll go ahead and. Yeah, I'm just trying to. Everybody might say that, yeah, whenever you redo something for sure, that what exactly does that mean? And people might say that, yeah, things, but still. Trying to put that on there sideways, going sideways, just like that right there. So really, that a lot of parents might say that if any kids may want to know too that what does it usually mean whenever you do have to redo something, and they'll probably say that could you possibly use that for an example right there to where that yeah that looking at this horizontally and this vertically or something like that, and people might say that, well, really, that I'm like, if that's really any more confusing than what it really needs to be, for sure, but still, if you did have to redo something, rework something, then does that pretty much means as to where that that they're putting more work, that they're giving you more work to do, even though if it wasn't necessary, or does that mean that they see how much work that you put into the work, and then they want to see some more results for what you were working on? So each time you think about that, and you're 102 that you 102 that okay, yeah. So this is another thing I want to talk about too. Talk about for your turn right here. So like everybody might say that yeah, that a number of times that you've had the training purposes, right, and you 102 that yeah, you see this right here. But anyway, just this page right here that shows talking about the house photographs, but this right here actually talks about been there. So it's like at the time you 102 that do you think that maybe that you would pronounce it as to we're talking about been there, if you've actually been in that situation before? You've been there. Yeah, you've been there. You've been where? And so yeah, so it's like whenever you do think about that, and you're 102 that you start working on something for sure, and somebody's going to ask the question for sure about okay, what does that mean? So it's like a lot of times you're always 102 that do you really get that whenever you show somebody an example of something that you were working on for sure? Been there, yeah, I've been there, been where, and so it's pretty much it's like yeah, that's basically how it is, right? You start out the story talking about the marching ducklings, and let's just say maybe if it was an English writing assignment or something like that, and you're 102 that you start talking about the story about the duckies, about the ducks and then the chickens, and the next thing you know, it's like you start showing somebody some pictures right here, some pictures and some sketches and illustrations right here, and there weren't to where okay, yeah, that for whatever reason that why does that remind me so much about, if you're dreaming, and like everybody might say that if you're going to be talking about the house though, and with that house though, is that, yeah, well, what about it? So it's like, yeah, starting out with the subject, and so like everybody might say that if you're going to be telling everybody a story about something that you were working on for school, right? And you're warned to where that a subject, and so each time you think about that, then you want to know too that, yeah, the subject topic, and is it really called the subject, or if it's the topic? But a lot of everybody else might say that, well, sometimes it's considered the topic, but your topic, that might really only be that if you're talking about maybe for newscasts or something like that. So it sure seems that way that each time you think about that you're warned to where that you're trying to make it a little bit more understandable for anybody else who's watching and who's looking, right? And you're thinking that you were talking about the story about the little duckies right here, and you're warned to where that you start sketching, start working a few sketches, and you start talking about a few other things too. And everybody might say that 4 pages doesn't really explain it all, so that's why that it seems like that you go ahead and work page 5 right here. I could put page 5 right here on the bottom right here, but still that. So each time you think about that, and you're thinking that whenever before this article was published, by the way, that you may have told your audiences that that the original project was only 4 pages long. It was 4 pages long, and so it's like, yeah, it was 4 pages, and so really, what are you going to tell the company? Like everybody might say that if you start working a project, working on something, what exactly are you going to tell the company? Like, let's just say that at the project assignment right here, like, yeah, 4 pages right here, talk about for the marching ducklings right here, and you're warned to where that yeah, there were 4 pages altogether right here, but if you added in 5 right there, then what's the reason why for that purpose? And so like everybody, all the other kids might even say too that almost everybody else is going to be full of questions, right? Why? And yeah, give me a reason why. Well, why? And so yeah, almost everything you're going to be talking about for sure. Somebody's going to be adding. I'm like, yeah, somebody's going to be asking the questions, right? And so what's I guess everybody might say that what's really a good example of what to give whenever it comes to telling a story and maybe talking about maybe a dream or something like that. And everybody might say that, yeah, if it's maybe the marching ducks or something like that. And everybody's going to maybe say that yeah, that you start talking about something, and then somebody's going to say, well, why? Well, I've been, you've been where? I've been there, and so yeah, so it seems like everybody might say that it starts out pretty much. It starts out with is to where you go ahead and show somebody a photograph. You go ahead and show them a picture right here of a house right here, this barn house right here, and then you start working on it, and maybe if you do start, you put it together, and maybe until somebody's able to recognize it, and that's whenever they're going to ask you that could you go ahead and you start working on it. And let's just say if it's maybe in black and white. If it's in black and white, there's no color to it, and that's whenever somebody's going to say that could you go ahead and use the pencil right here, go ahead and draw some, add some other things to it, like what's it made out of, and maybe some more details right there for the background or something like that. And so that's why it seems like that that whenever you do think about that, you want to know too that yeah, well, whenever you first start sketching this, it was in black and white. It was a rough draft until you started working more of the paint tool until you start putting more detail into it. And but I added in right here is a rainbow right here, mainly because of the fact that I think that would be kind of neat looking right there, and like everybody might say that you got the marching ducklings right there, and like I say that yeah, you got the rainbow right there. So if we're talking about the duckies that follow me right here, that and let's just say that yeah, the way I had this these 2 pages right here arranged right here, if we could all see this right here, you got the marching ducklings right here, and that this right here was supposed to be two pages right here, 5 and 6 right here, and you see right here these ducklings right here. You see this right here, that the marching ducklings, that yeah, welcome, follow me right here. So like, let's just say if they all kind of stay together as a group, like if you're going to be maybe on a field trip, or maybe if you're going to be just visiting somebody, and they say you got the little duckies right here, marching duckies, and then you have right here talking about whenever it comes to yeah. So you got the duckies right here, but really that when we talk about the barn house right here, and really that you see this right here is the door right here, but like everybody might say that that if you're trying to show somebody where home is, and people want to know too that yeah, okay, you got the house right here, but really that everybody might even say too that what is it, what do you necessarily think about whenever you see the house right here? Yeah, you see the house right here, but let's just say if you do see snow covered on top of the rooftop right here or something like that, but still, it's like so whenever you think about a house right here, you got the puppy dog right here, but I'll go and show everybody here. Yeah, if that maybe if those were like game pieces or something, but I got the puppy dog right here. But like everybody might say that that whenever you do think about home, no, that are you necessarily thinking about is that yeah, home can be described in a lot of ways, for sure, right? But still. But let's just say that that whenever I was sketching this right here, like everybody might say that that you were trying to draw an example right here of a barn house right here, and everybody might say that yeah, well really that you got the barn house right here, but then you got windows right here, so there's supposed to be maybe an upper floor right here, and maybe right here up here is the attic, and maybe if you have like a little room back here where you keep things like, yeah, if it's tractors or anything like that. And so each time you think about that, and you want to know too that that yeah, that it's a house, right? But the first thing that you think about is that yeah, that's mainly for insurance. So you got the idea mainly because of the fact that that really, was it for an activity book just to show the kids, or like was it supposed to be like to be able to, like, yeah, somebody is trying to sign up, to get, insurance or something like that, for an insurance page or something like that, and yeah, a puzzle, and I'm like, I actually look at it like the 3D puzzles and everything. I actually look at it as to where, like, if these right here were supposed to be the directions on how to put the house together, and let's just say that there was prints right on the side right here, and you're thinking that hey, that that how did these pieces go together right here, and so yeah, so it's like whenever you think about a house right here, house photographs right here, and that's maybe why that I would say is to where if it's good to go ahead and put a few other, like yeah, you got the house right here, but working in Photoshop right here, but you see right here that that I went ahead and copied and duplicated the same house, and just put a little bit more paint work right here, maybe yeah, a little bit more work right here for the windows. If we can all see this right here, you got the windows right there, but still, if we look closely right here at the windows, and everybody might say that that yeah, if you can kind of tell if that's really glass or if you're trying to paint it, if it actually is supposed to be like maybe wood or something like that, or maybe paneling or something like that. But still, each time you look at the photographs, though, what exactly is it that you're looking for whenever you do see any illustrations, or if you do paint this, you're trying to make it a little bit more artistic, right? And if you're trying to tell a story, and any kids might even say too that you dream about a house right here, but then there was a rainbow. You in your dream that there was a rainbow that was spotted, on that property or something like that, and so that's why it seems like that. Whenever you do think about home right here, and I'll go ahead and show everybody here about talking about what this reads right up here on the top right here is talking about with the house right here. Now, all by I'm like, yeah, is it right? Yeah, did you put it here? See if I can show everybody here, but the sentence is right here. I'm going to show everybody here that this right here, this writing right here, this is a barn, also known as a house for the birds. When I think about homes, we do think about place known as home. Home can mean a lot of things. One of those things, of course, is using your imagination. So really, what does that mean when we talk about, home? Home known as the barn. And, known as the barn, and, but still, that, do you think necessarily that, that the way that worded right there, for sure, like everybody might say that, do you think that maybe anybody might say that I don't really, I kind of think of that as like an activity book, sort of, kind of, but like everybody might say that, I might look at it also as for farmers insurance or something like that. I think a lot of, I really don't know everybody, like a lot of farmers might say that, if you're trying to impress anybody, if you're trying to impress those farmers for anything that you're working on, for sure, that, they might say that we came across your activity book. What do I do if I'm trying to get insurance on a house? And, for farmers insurance or something like that. And, so everybody might say that, the original idea, the original design right here was supposed to be for like an activity book, but like everybody might say that, that that's kind of odd, that maybe if you would use that, for an example, like, instead of talk about the activity book for ducks or something like that, you're going to go ahead and talk about farmers insurance or something like that. But still, that, what exactly is coming to your mind whenever you do, I'm like, whenever you do start talking about something, whenever you do start working on something. And everybody might say that, what's the first thing that comes to my mind whenever I see that house? Well, the first thing that comes to my mind, of course, in case if anybody's wondering, is to where it's going to be a puzzle. But everybody else might say that, that looks just like that house, that property that I used to have. Somebody might say that that looks just like that property that I used to have up there in Michigan or some state like that, or maybe if it's Arkansas, but still. But whenever you do paint the house right here, and like say that, you go ahead and draw that example right there of a rainbow right here. And like everybody might say that, really, that what does that really have anything to do with insurance? But like everybody would say that I thought I'd go ahead and put that in, just because I thought that would look kind of neat, if you would actually, show any illustrations like, you were dreaming about, having that, like, for that house, and what do you think the house would look like if there was a storm that went by or something like that, or maybe for any reason at all, but still. But you have right here is the house, but I'll go ahead and show everybody here. I'm like, you go ahead and show everybody here some of the details of the house right here. But really, is that really what that usually means right there? Talk about for whenever you rework something, it's in the progress, it's in the process of improvement right here. It's in the process of improvement right here. So, so in case if anybody is going to ask anybody to redo something for sure? Do you think that they're asking you to start over, or they're going to just say that no? That just usually means that that they want to see you do more work, and like everybody might say that do your kids really think about that too much of the time? That whenever you're working on something that after you spend about maybe 5 hours or maybe 3 days, you working on it, and they're gonna ask you to redo something, and so what does that usually mean? And like everybody might say that the ducklings, according to what the ducklings said, it usually means is to where that you gotta turn around or something like that. Turn around or something, but still. But whenever we talk about one more about a little right here, but I just really think in a lot of ways too that whenever we do speak about homes, by the way, that I think it is text right here, and so it's like eggs in the nest right here. I thought I'd go ahead and put that in, but anybody's gonna maybe say that how many days after it rains, 5 days after it rains, the build a nest by the time it gets warmer. And I could put on here that but whenever you do have to redo something, and I could put on here rebuild. Is it maybe the foundation or something like that? And like everybody might say, if you're trying to talk about a story, and people might say, rebuild, means rebuild. I'm just with rebuild would here rebuild west. So what does that mean? Everybody, that if you're trying to rebuild west right there, rebuild west, and then head up. So really, are those supposed to be directions right there? In case if anybody's 102, that every time you do think about that, and you're 102, that do you really think about it that way, to where that whenever it comes to redoing something and rebuilding something, that are you trying to improve it, or are you necessarily just saying that that there was that it got ruined, something got damaged or got ruined or something like that, but still that but whenever we do talk about the ducklings right here, and think it is to where that another thing I want to talk about is prizes, but you talk about for the ducklings right here, talk about for rebuild it right here. But I thought I'd go ahead and put this in right here, talk about for prizes, and just because, in case if anybody's 102, that if this right here was supposed to be a game for sure, then if it's supposed to be a game, then prizes, and anybody say that is toward it, really, what does that mean? But put that right there, put that prizes, and it pretty much means it's an award, it's a reward for thanks for playing, if you I'm sure most of us know what a prize is, right? But everybody might say that an activity book or something like that. So really, I thought to go ahead and put that in right there, but everybody might say that when we do talk about ducklings, though, and you want to know too that do you think that maybe like with your ducklings or any other sorts of pet or animal that you're gonna have, that says toward it, you talk about prizes right here. You win prizes whenever you play along, whenever you follow along, and so any kids that might even say too that welcome, follow me right here, and let's just say if they're gonna maybe want to know too that that, can you win any prizes? Can you win prizes whenever you follow along? And, yeah, welcome, follow me right here. And, so it's like, yeah, so whenever we talk about welcome, follow me right here, and talk about for please right here. And, so I'll go and put right here, yeah, go ahead and try to move that up there so that way we can all see it right there. And, yeah, I know it, everybody, that whenever you first start working on something, a lot of things are coming through, you're going through your mind so far as, if you have an idea, go ahead and, go ahead and write that down or something, but, still. So whenever it comes to the spring marching ducklings right here, and it's like, yeah, you think of this toward the marching ducklings right here, welcome, follow me, and, so each time you think about that, and you'll want to know too that first of all, it's like yeah, you go ahead and start out with the subject matter, your subject, and then you go ahead and start writing something down, like if we're actually building something. But yeah, the hope, the main purpose about your work right here, if that's really the main purpose of it, is to where that you come so close. And so really, that whenever you do think about that, welcome, follow me right here, marching ducklings. Let me show you. And so you got the marching ducklings right here, but still, that follow me right here, and that's why it seems like that whenever you do think about these ducklings right here, as they're all marching right here, and you're also thinking too that yeah. Got that image right there, and I'll go ahead and show everybody here that with this image right here, I talk about for the marching ducklings, because I went ahead and added in some more paintwork right here. Yeah, I added in a few more feathers right there on this sketch right here, and we can all see this right here, talking about whenever it comes to whenever it comes to understanding about working puzzles, right? And but anyway, but you see this right here, that with the ducklings and their feathers, and so yeah, you got the marching ducklings right here, but it's like yeah, you look at the duckling right here, and everybody might say that yeah, you look at the duckling right here, and you're maybe thinking as toward hey, that you got the marching duckling right here. And you're thinking, okay, yeah, that they're all going to be marching right here. And you go ahead and put in right here the detail right there of the feathers and all that. You got the feathers right here as they're all marching. And but still, that right there is supposed to be a game piece right there. And everybody say that, yeah, game piece right there. And put that on there if they were actually going sideways. But really, how do we explain to our children about whenever it comes to redoing something, and maybe whenever it comes to maybe if it's the change of directions or anything like that, or just showing progress or something. But anyway, but I have those right there if those are set like for game pieces right there. But still, that topic and subject right here for your turn. And so any parents might say that yeah, that whenever you think about that, talk about for your turn right there. And so any parents that say that, yeah, you go ahead and show somebody something for sure, then they're going to say that, okay, yeah, your turn. Your turn to go ahead and try to, get the puzzle pieces to fit. It's your turn. Okay, that's your turn to go ahead and try to, yeah. So everybody might say that, yeah, if you're playing a game, if you're playing an activity game or something like that, that, whose turn is it? And that's why it seems like that, yeah, you got the puzzle pieces right here, and that's why it seems like that, yeah, your turn. Yeah, your turn. And so really that, oh, I'm just trying to place this right here, but anyway. So yeah, so if you show somebody something, how something works for sure, then that's whenever that yeah. So what does that use? What does that mean? Like everybody might say that you go and show somebody something for sure, and they're gonna say that okay, yeah, I went and showed you some examples here, and so now it's your turn to go ahead and give it a try or something. So so yeah, so it's like yeah, I look at that more of a game, but like everybody might say, if you're training somebody on how to do something or maybe how to use something for sure, then you would go ahead and show them, and then you would include maybe 4 or 5 different images right here of what you're talking about, just just to use it as like a guide, right? If you're if you're helping guiding them, it's just like directions, right? Just like directions, and so that's why it seems like that, yeah, you go ahead and say that, you go ahead and show somebody something. It's like, well, now it's your turn. Go ahead and give it a try. And, really, what does the marching duckling think about that? And it says, yeah, well, you go ahead and show somebody something for sure. And it says to her, yeah, well, I don't know. I really don't know if maybe Duckling 1 and Duckling 2 is maybe going to feel very comfortable about it, but still, that yeah, you go and show somebody something, but what exactly do you think that you would be showing them necessarily? And you go ahead and show the duckling right here, and yeah, that this is how you do this right here, and but still, that yeah, so how to play the game, especially. So the way I got these placed right here was almost like this right here was supposed to be a game right here. It's supposed to be like a little activity game right here, but still. But on the other hand, and I thought I can go and show everybody here these examples right here of this barn house right here, just because of the fact that the way I have it put together right here, yeah, this example right here, and I'll go and show everybody here that the barn house right here, and you can actually see right here is the barn house, and you got the example right here of a door right here, and you got the windows right here, but still that like everybody think is toward okay, yeah, that you go ahead and paint that, but do you think that anybody's going to maybe take the time to maybe show about, okay, yeah, is it made out of wood, or if it's special made siding or something like that, or what sorts of material is it really made out of? And so yeah, so it's like you go ahead and paint this example right here of this barn right here, and everybody's going to say that that yeah, you go ahead and paint it to where it's recognizable, but everybody might say that what you're actually using it for. I'm like, yeah. And a lot, some kids might say that. I mean, I can actually see kids actually saying that that they actually drew it. They actually drew the picture right there, sketched out a farmhouse just like this right here, and added in some color mainly because that they're trying to describe a dream that they had or something like that, or they're just trying to. Yeah, it's supposed to be like a little activity book or something, a little activity or something like that. But still, but whenever you do think about that, then you're warned to where that, yeah, that you go ahead and sketch this house right here, this example of this house right here, and you're warned too that that whose house is that, or if it's supposed to be property that you own or something like that, or something that you drew. But I would probably tell you, everybody, that yeah, this right here is supposed to be if you just draw this house, but I would more likely look at it as to where you're trying to explain to everybody about a dream. And in case if anybody's wondering, a dream, like a dream. In your dream that in your dream that you actually yeah, it's a dream, and so whenever you do talk about your dreams, right, that everybody might say that you actually draw them, so that way you can explain to somebody about that. And like I say, that I really don't think that there is really no meaning for any dreams at all. To be quite honest with you, everybody, that you can maybe maybe talk to a doctor or somebody about that, and want to know too that the things that you dream about, and you're warned to where that yeah, most dreams, by the way. Most dreams, by the way, are supposed to be opportunities for something that you've always wanted to do, right? And so every time you do think about that, and you're 102, that yeah, you go ahead and put dream right there, and then you put dream right up here on the top. And so are you really telling a story, or if it's supposed to be like just for fun activity or something like that? Or like everybody might say that yeah, you have a dream about that you were in this house right here, and that that you own, like yeah, that you had a few birds and chickens, and maybe had a few farm animals or something like that, and so really that every time you do think about that, and you're 102, that yeah, you're trying to describe to somebody about a dream that you had, or maybe something that you kind of put together in your mind about what it looks like. You tell somebody a story about something. But to be quite honest with you, I would probably say that if I were to be dreaming about a farmhouse, I would probably start out with the one with the rainbow on it. And for whatever reason that really approaches my idea, by the way, I would probably start out with the one with the rainbow. But if you want to put like maybe maybe honeybees or butterflies or something like that, you could probably use butterflies too. But I have right here the rainbow right here, but still. So if anybody has thought about that, for sure, that you go ahead and if you're trying to describe, if you're trying to tell, like yeah, if it's supposed to be like a little theme or something like that, to where you go ahead and start out with the subject matter, and then you put right here's a little background of a house right here, and you put the main objective, and I guess it's called the main objective, and so you got those 4 things to memorize, right? So if you're trying to tell somebody a story, and let's just say if you're trying to design it as like if it's supposed to be like a poster design, then you would go ahead and put that right there. That you would have the farm animals, and I can go ahead and show everybody here that that right there is supposed to be what it's supposed to look like, maybe on the invitation or something like that. And yeah, you go ahead and put right there the farm animals right there, place it right there, and to where everybody can see that, and they're probably thinking is to where okay, yeah, that so you're 102 that do you think that if you did it like that, do you think that maybe anybody would be able to understand that? You got right there's the ducks right there, and everybody might say that okay, yeah, the main objective right there is the duckies right there. And then you allow it to where that you can move around right there, and 102 move the game pieces around just a little bit like that, and so yeah, so I actually look at that more like an activity, but I'm sure that we all can think really what we want to think for sure, but still that whenever you do think about that, and you're 102 that do you think that maybe it would make sense to go ahead and put like the main piece, like if that right there is supposed to be like the person, like your game, like yeah, you can have where you can actually move it around, and what exactly is it that you're thinking about? So it's like yeah, so whenever you do think about that, you're 102. What exactly is coming to your mind whenever you think about this game, this placemat or something like that? Like yeah, if it's supposed to be displayed. Like that, right there. Like it's like yeah. It's supposed to be right here's a background of a backdrop or something like that, and so what you would do is that yeah, you would actually tell everybody a story or something like that, or anything like maybe if it's an opinion or a thought or something like that, something that comes to your mind, any other sorts of idea, but still that. But if we're talking about chickens right here, and you might be thinking as to where yeah, we're just wondering, but you had the chickens right here, but everybody might say that they're all gonna be just wondering though, but what's this right here? And so it's like, yeah. So the first thing that you're gonna be thinking about is that really, what's this? And so if you were to, if they were to be marching, if those chickens were to be marching like right here, and at 102, that trying to get the game, the piece right here, but still. So you have right here, if they're going to be marching right here, going past the house, I'm like, yeah. So it's like they're going to be marching, and then, but still. So the way I think about too, that when we talk about, the barn, the farmhouse or any sort of house, that you're thinking that, okay, yeah, so if that right there is supposed to be an activity, but a lot of doctors might even say too that you go ahead and draw out the details about what exactly it is that you're thinking about. And but anyway, talk about for the photographs right here. But still, I've been there. You've been where? And so really, that you start telling everybody a story about something. And the first thing that you're going to be talking about is that, I've been there. I know exactly what you're talking about. And then you go ahead and show them these images right here. And let's just say that, the first sketch that you were talking about was actually talking about like right here. But, what does the house look like whenever it's all covered with snow? What do you think it looks like if there's a rainbow right there? And so that's why it seems like that whenever you do think about that and you're warned toward okay, do you get the idea? Or but still, you have right here is with the house right here. And so when we talk about 3 weeks until that, the first thing that you're going to be thinking about is maybe a home, right? If it's going to be home, but still. But you have right here, the eggs in the nest right here, and then you have right here for spring right here, but still. So we do talk about welcome, follow me right here, and you're thinking is toward okay, that they're trying to show you somebody, it's the way it's the same is just toward the house, and then you got the marching ducklings right here. But anyway, but one more about a little right here, and you come so close, and so that's why it seems like that whenever you do think about that in a lot of ways, that you're thinking is toward, okay, the marching ducklings. You're going to be thinking as toward, if you're trying to show them something for sure, this is that's a way to get back home, and or something like that. And so whenever you do think about that, and you're 102, that you got the marching ducklings right here. Welcome, follow me, and so so you're thinking as toward if you're talk about the marching ducklings right here. But I was just thinking that if you're trying to tell somebody a story for sure, that you start working on something, and this right here is a barn, also known as a home for the birds, and so it's like you include right here is the house right there, but everybody might even think that is to where that do you think that you would continue to go ahead and tell a story or talk about that this is a barn also known as a home for the birds, where I think that your home is where we think is to a place is also known as home right here. So really, it does not really, I guess you could say it really does not really make any sense, especially if you haven't been there, or maybe if anything that what you're trying to do is that you're trying to tell everybody that a story about the chickens, and knowing about that the marching birds, right, that the marching ducks, and that's why it seems like that whenever you do think about that, and you probably think it's toward, okay, are you thinking about photographs? Are you thinking about storytelling, and are you necessarily thinking about poetry or something like that? And but in case of anybody's wondering, toward it, one thing that I want to talk about right here, talk about with the dream, right? But still, but in case of anybody's want to know too, that yeah, if you have a brother or a sister that's going to maybe say that, well, it's your turn, go ahead and give it a try. You're welcome to give this a try. If you're playing a game or something like that. And so yeah, each time I do think about that, I keep thinking that, yeah, that. As somebody, if you go ahead and try something and you go ahead and show somebody, yeah, if it's supposed to be a special trick on how to play a game or something like that, or it's supposed to be, yeah, it's supposed to be a skill. It's supposed to be a skill that you're trying to show somebody something. But on the other hand, that could you possibly show the ducky, like everybody say, you got the marching duckling right here, and you'll want to know too that, yeah. Way back home. And so if you were to actually, yeah, like everybody might say that, that's something that you would probably include in this activity. Way back home. So whenever you think about that in your word toward it, yeah, that, after this training session, and this is how you would get back home right here. So, yeah, so it's like, you have the training right here. Maybe if you have like this exercise right here, and yeah, it talks about a way back home right there. So, I would think that, like everybody might say, do you think that's pretty neat on how it was all put together? And if you're trying to show somebody something, and you go ahead and say, yeah, welcome, follow me, and you say right here is that the way back home right here. So a lot of ducklings might say that they find that to be real convenient. Like if you're going to be working on something and, you go ahead and tell them that, show them some stuff and, yeah. So you have right here these 4 or 5 different pages right here, but like everybody might say that the way you look at that right there, and you want to know too that, you're trying to follow the arrows for where you're working at, and you're like, yeah, the way to how to get back home right here. So yeah, so I thought I'd go ahead and include that right there, but the way back home, and so if we were all able to look at the duckies right there, and then we were all able to look at the marching ducklings right here, and so yeah, the way back home right here, and talking about with the ducklings, and you're thinking as toward it, yeah, who gets to go first whenever it comes to yeah, who gets to go first, right? But still, that they have right here, I'll talk about with the ducklings right here. You got the duckling right there. But still, that other than that, you talk about Fraser for do very well right here. And thanks for watching, everyone.